Get the inside track on 20 top business trends for 2020 from Joel Block. Joel's insights bring Wall Street to your street so you can profit from the inside in 2020. Just text the word TREND to 72000. That's 72000 and download your free copy today. Grab your phone and get the inside track on business trends that affect you and your business. Just text the word TREND to 72000 for your copy now. This is Profit from the Inside with Joel Block. Insights to give your business the inside track. And now, here's your host, Joel Block.
You must wonder, how am I going to keep my managers, my hourly personnel, my other people motivated and productive so they don't leave and take what we've taught them away? And further, you might even be thinking, how do I develop my company leaders, maybe my next second tier of people, in a time-effective, cost-effective, and efficient way? To answer those questions, Tia Graham. Tia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Hey, so how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. Well, welcome. So what's the trick to keeping people employees? You've got a different angle than some of our other people. A lot of our people are these hardcore finance business people. You're from a different side of the business. So give us a little background. Tell us what you're from.
So my background is in leading sales and marketing teams for luxury hotels for about 15 years. I was in Hawaii and New York City, Istanbul, Turkey, and also Los Angeles, where we had the pleasure of meeting. And I have always been very, very interested in human happiness and the psychology of happiness, which led me to create my company, Arrive at Happy. And I've dove into what makes people happy and what leaders can do to create really thriving cultures so that the employees never want to leave.
Okay, so let's talk first about luxury hotels because, listen, we've all stayed at great hotels, and the people that work at these places are quite extraordinary. I mean, they really are generally fantastic people. Do they just find fantastic people, or do they teach mediocre people how to be fantastic through some magical form? What's your experience in the hotel business? How does it work?
Really great question. So hotel companies absolutely look for personalities. And, within the entire industry, it's hire for attitude, train for skill. With that being said, throughout my experience in working with global hotel companies as well as independent hotel companies, hotels spend a significant amount of time on training and development, both for the hourly employees, sort of service culture, if you will, and then leadership training. As a leader, I went through several different lengthy leadership trainings. So I would say it's a combination of both. And you didn't ask me this, and I will say hotels do a great job of instilling really, really authentic pride so that the employees feel like the hotels are their second homes.
You mean for the employees?
Yes.
Because a good hotel makes the guests feel that way too.
Oh, yes, exactly. I was talking about the employees. So as if the employees are welcoming the customers into their home. That's sort of the culture that's created and that's interwoven in the hotel.
Yeah. It's quite amazing that, I guess what this whole discussion is about really is that hotels really understand their customer. They probably understand their customer better than many other industries. True? False?
I would say yes. Hotels spend a lot of time on data analysis as well as just, speaking to customers. And there's so many touch points for the companies to gather information on their customers. And repeat customers are obviously way less expensive, to keep as opposed to acquiring new customers. So yes, very, very, very customer focused for sure.
So they understand their customer. They teach their employees about this. And, so right now we're talking about kind of the customer facing side. We opened the kind of the question was really the internal side. Mm-hmm. But I imagine if people are having a good experience working with customers, that goes a long way to them liking their job.
Yes. I mean, in my opinion, you develop strong leaders who understand how to drive the business forward and understand how to truly take care of the employees. And that will take care of your business because the leaders are going to take care of the employees. And if the employees are taken care of, or when they're taken care of, they will take care of the customer.
And so that kind of works in hospitality. Does it work in other industries? I know it's kind of a gold standard for other industries, but does it really work? Do other industries have the margin to do it? Or maybe they don't have the margin to even have a choice. I mean, they just need to do it. I mean, what do you think?
Great question. I think no matter what the margin, they have to do it because it will only increase your profit. I actually was speaking to a financial company in New York last week, and they said, my leaders tell me they're so busy, they don't have the time. They don't have the time to spend with their hourly employees. And I, went right back to him, said, they need to carve out the time for their employees. It will make their life easier, and the company will definitely be making more money. So I honestly don't think it's industry specific. And there are other examples. A great one is Zappos. It's in sort of the tech retail sector, whose entire focus, Tony Hsieh's entire focus was on employee happiness and customer happiness. Those were the pillars. And, he sold his company for over $1 billion to Amazon, and happiness for both employees and customers was the primary focus from day one.
If a manager says that they're too busy to do something, then either that manager or the company needs to really take a look at, at busyness. Busyness is a terrible thing. I mean, are these people not being productive? Why are they so busy? What else do they have to do that's more important than making sure that their employees are taking care of their customers? Are they doing paperwork? Maybe the management needs to take a hard look at that. So, do you counsel companies on those things?
Yes. And actually, I can speak to that even firsthand. Mid-level, upper-level management, depending on who's running the company. And in some cases, you have multiple groups, whether you have the investors, management companies, et cetera. There could be a lot of different people that are directing the organization. And so that mid-level management, upper-level management can be bogged down with meetings, conference calls, reports, email response, et cetera. And especially with all of the distractions that, your phone and everything gives you, news, et cetera, it's getting harder and harder for managers to really stay focused and prioritized. Time, is really all about prioritization. Any person in corporate America today could spend all day just answering emails, and probably it would fill 8 or 9 hours of their day. But to move a business forward, you can't do that. You need to be with your customers. You need to be with your team. And so if things are not moving in the direction that the business needs to go, then the executive team needs to really look at how are people spending their time.
Well, listen, I know for myself as an executive, I take responsibility for myself. If you're not doing a good job, I must not have either been clear, or I got to help you to clear your platter, or, make sure that things are a little different for you somehow. And not all managers, of course, assume that kind of responsibility. But let's go back to the part that you said about retention. How do you get employees to just fall in love with the company so that they don't want to leave? So if a property across the street offers them more money, they still don't want to leave. What's the secret to employee loyalty?
So there's not one. I'll tell you the ingredients to employee loyalty. So
put your chef hat on and start baking a cake. That's it,
yes,
right?
Baking a cake. And this is, you are going to, loyalty beyond reason, where someone offers them a huge amount more to leave, but they say, nope, I'm happy here. I'm going to stay. And that's what you want, especially after you put in all the training and development. So number one is the purpose and the vision and the values of the company need to be simple and clear, and everyone throughout the organization needs to know them. So a lot of times, I won't go. So that's one. A second ingredient is that the company needs to consistently be communicating the results of the organization, both the good results and the challenging results. And every single person, down to the hourly employees, wants to know how the business is doing. A third part is that employees need to know that their work matters. Meaning in work is directly tied to how motivated they are and how hard they want to work. And sometimes when you're lower down the totem pole in an organization, your work might, just seem hourly, clock in, clock out. You don't really see the big picture. And so leaders need to consistently be communicating why their work matters. Another ingredient is consistent positive feedback. So of course, you need to give feedback when employees need, criticism and constructive criticism and behavior modification, if you will. But to have really, really happy employees and people want to stay, they need to be getting consistent positive feedback, specific about what they're doing well. That does amazing. It just really, really does wonders for the mindset and for them to stay motivated.
You have a couple more?
Yeah, I got a couple more. I'll give
Okay,
three more.
Go ahead. Finish up.
Another is to build authentic, connected relationships. Employees need to feel like they belong, not just because they are X position or they're, this employee number. They need to feel like they truly belong as a human being. There needs to be team connection. They need to feel like they're a part. If you think of the strength of families, you need to create that culture. And another is that to have employees be really, really happy that they'll never leave, they actually have friends at work. And they're not leaving because they're connected to their boss and they're connected to other people in the company.
So does a company facilitate that through social activities? I mean, how does the company help make that happen?
Yeah. So depending on, you need to know your team. So I say, if you have a group of tech programmers, that's going to be very different than a group of, sales directors who are maybe super extroverted and want to do these certain type of team building activities. Whereas maybe a more introverted group wants to do something different. The leader needs to know the type of people that they're leading. And then, yes, create activities. And it can be as simple as office potluck or, the leader needs to create opportunities where the human beings are talking to each other, not just about what's going on in the organization and not just about the strategies and the tasks that they're working on.
The one thing about hotels that's different, and I don't mean to keep going back to hotels, just I know you're an expert in hotels, because hotels has got to be one of the hardest businesses because it's one of the businesses where customers, they can't help themselves, but they yell at people. I mean, it's one thing you go to the supermarket and you buy the wrong can of beans and you make a mistake, you get kind of bent out of shape. But when you're sleeping somewhere and you're like, I don't know, your whole mojo is all out of balance and like it's all on the line and you're hungry and you're tired and you're in a bad mood and you haven't taken a shower in a while and you got this problem and that problem. And I don't know, whatever your problems are. And they lost your luggage at the airport. Somebody at that hotel is getting yelled at. It just happens. How do they teach people to be courteous under that kind of pressure?
A lot through role play. So the higher level managers will, in the training, go through scenarios. So the front desk of the hotels gets the bulk of that communication from clients. And it can be very, very difficult and very stressful. And so the leaders will go role plays and then they will model. So in the training, inevitably the manager and the higher ups that are training the new people are going to get yelled at, are going to get berated, are going to be name called, etc. And so the newer employee is watching the leader, the supervisor, stay calm. And there's trained specifically how to diffuse, how to show empathy, how to, reframe back what the customer is saying. And also there's a line, right? They're also, you can't be physically attacked, or if it's, incredible verbal communication, then the employees know, okay, calling a manager. And I've been, lots of times where customers will actually be asked to leave if it's too much. But really it's it's almost like negotiation, right? Of just like staying calm, listening, repeating back, and empathizing.
I just imagine some people are intuitively better at this than other people. I mean, all the training in the world, is not going to make me a baseball player. But handling some situations, is more intuitive to me than others. And I imagine that's true for other people. So does there tend to be like one person that's designated as the bad guy receptor? When there's just a terrible customer, they're like they're the fixer.
I would say there's usually a few, within the team. Definitely there'll be a few employees and, out of the leadership group, one or two of the leaders, and they are known as the best at it and also at not getting as, ruffled by it, right? It doesn't affect them as much. And I believe that the people that do this, the ones I've known over the years who do this really well, it actually, there's a sense of pride that they're able, sort of like, give me any customer, I can handle it. I will make them happy.
I think about something else. You were talking a few minutes ago about, getting people to bond. I'm all about bonding, but my idea of bonding doesn't really work in this, diversity and inclusion kind of environment, because I have a certain, it's not that I don't include everybody, I do, but not everybody likes to do, like, I might like to go have a cigar. I might like to go have a scotch. I might like to go to a ball game. And I tend to do the things that I like to do. Mm-hmm. But not everybody likes to do the things that I like to do. And you can't make everybody do it. So in this world of diversity and inclusion, where you want to include all kinds of people who have, different preferences for, different, they might not like bars. They might not like sporting events. They might not like, how do you satisfy a team of people that are not like your friends? They're not like you picked them. So they're kind of like a pool of people that's very diverse and very different from what maybe is normal for you. Mm-hmm. How do you create bonding in that kind of group so that everybody feels good and can work together in a good way? Great
question. First of all, it's great if you have a diverse team that doesn't all look the same. It's going to make the team stronger, and it's obviously wonderful for society as well. So I would, if a leader came to me with that exact question, I would say, go ask your team. So let's say you have 25 or however many people you have. And I would say, we want to have some bonding time, whether it's team fun, whether it's, just time to blow off steam. What do you want to do? And you could have each person write down some ideas, on paper, if everyone doesn't want to say it, and just, say, hey, over the next 40 hours, just send me a couple of your ideas. What do you think would be good? Or you could ask in person if the team is really close and everyone could just share their ideas. And then if it's once a month, once a quarter, and these don't need to be extremely, like, you could do an experience in as short as 30 or 45 minutes. Some like ball game could be 5 hours. I would have variety, right? Not everything you do is every person's going to think, oh, this is the best. Like, I'm so glad that we're cigar, I don't know, cigar tasting. I don't smoke cigar, whatever that is. Right. And then the next one, that someone says, hey, let's all go see a comedy show, or let's all, learn from this professor. I don't know. Depends on your group. Right. That I would say over time, and you could say to the team just that, I got a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of different personalities here, and we're going to have a variety. And I'll tell you, it kind of, truthfully, it sounds very good, because I kind of do the things that I like to do. But, if somebody said, we're going to go to a play, hey, that sounds kind of fun. Or we're going to go hear a professor give a discussion on a certain topic. Not normally where I would go, but that sounds like it'd be kind of fun. I mean, if every month somebody planned a different activity over the course of a year, you'd have done a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. And things you wouldn't normally do, for sure. Yeah. And I could see how that would bond a group together. That would do a lot of good. Yes. So what's the impact? I mean, is there any research that says that companies that play together stay together, or I mean, are we just talking about some theoretical stuff? Is it anecdotal? Because I mean, I happen to believe it's true, but is there research that backs this up? Yeah. So I'll just give two that come to mind. So in terms of the employees who play together, stay together. So Gallup, which is a very large research organization, they have a survey called the Q12, which is 12 questions. And it's been given to thousands of employees in different types of companies and industries. And there's one question on the Q12 that says, do you have a friend at work? And the majority, if within an organization, if the majority of the employees, I think it's about 72%, say they do have a friend in work, that it directly connects to EBITDA and that it's a more profitable company. Another statistic that comes to mind is the University of Oxford at the end of 2019 came out with a study that showed that, and it was a multinational telecom company, thousands of employees, and they monitored them for over 9 months. And it showed that when employees, and this is, again, it's telecom, but working with customers, that when the employees are feeling happy at work, they were 12% more productive than the employees they were feeling negative or neutral. So there definitely is a business ROI. And although now I'm in the business of happiness or bringing happiness to business, I absolutely want there to be a positive business impact.
Well, I always thought that the word happy is kind of it's like a birthday party word, and but even adults need to be happy. I mean, I'm not making fun of the word happy. I just, it just isn't a word you hear in business all the time. And maybe we need to hear it more. Maybe that's the problem, is that we don't hear some important language often enough, because every one of us, when people are in a good mood, and there's a lot of bad news in every day. I mean, the news channels, just everything is rough in our world. Yes. And that brings people down, and people spend so much time at work. I mean, I guess that we really owe it to our people to help them, make the best of whatever it is that they're doing. Right.
Yes. I mean, I absolutely believe so. And culturally, you're right. Happiness is not a huge part of our work. I went and studied with a happiness company that's been doing global corporate happiness work for 14 years in Copenhagen, in Denmark. And in Danish, there's actually a word that means work happiness. One word meaning work happiness. And obviously, we don't have that word in English, right? There's a word
you could kind of collapse it and call it wappiness.
Yeah, maybe. There's a word in Japan that means death from work. And thankfully, we don't have that word in our language either. But yes, I mean, we do spend a lot of time. And I think you know this as an entrepreneur and everything that you do, when you get a lot of meaning, when you are satisfied, you're able to be more successful. There's definitely changes in the brain, and I won't go into all of that research, but you're able to be more successful than if you're miserable or just sort of, going through waiting for the next opportunity.
No, I'll tell you something. Most people don't have the luxury of saying this, but if I'm not happy, if it doesn't bring me joy, I'm kind of winding down on it pretty fast. I mean, I only like to do things that matter to me, that I feel good about, and the things that I do feel good about, I could work all day long. I mean, I'll work 24 hours a day. I mean, I remember a time when I was a kid at Price Waterhouse, and they said, "You're not working enough." I said, "This work is boring. It's horrible. Give me better work. I'll work all night." I said, "But this work is horrible." And of course, that probably wasn't a great thing for a young kid to say to the boss, and I wasn't working there 2 weeks later, or something. But I was kind of winding down. But even as a youngster, I kind of understood that I have to like what I do, and I have to like who I do it for. And I have to understand the reason why I'm doing it. All the things that you just said. Now, maybe some people are more robotic and they're more mechanical and they just go through the motions. But the people that really are alive, I think in certain industries have those people more than others, really are right in sync. I mean, I kind of get your message. I'm getting it as we sit here.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're getting it. Yeah. As you were speaking, you were talking about your PricewaterhouseCoopers. I just had a flashback when I just graduated the University of Hawaii. I was working for these 4 beautiful resorts on Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. And right as I graduated, I was exposed to the sales team that, sold these 4 hotels. And I saw these men and women who had been in these careers for anywhere from 10 to 30 years. And they were really, really happy. They were, doing well. They were traveling all over the world, selling Hawaii and, representing these properties. And I actually, that made a big impact on me, because I remember thinking, wow, that career looks amazing. Like I could tell that they were enjoying it, they weren't saying, oh, I'm so happy, I love my job. I could just see it, and so hopefully that a lot of young people coming out can have that experience too, and not just go into something because they think they should, but follow careers that really will light them up inside.
Yeah, listen, people, they radiate a certain way when they're feeling good, when they're doing good. And I think that really is the inside track to this whole story, that if people are happy, there's a very good chance that they're going to work harder. They're going to try harder. They're going to stay longer. They're going to encourage other people. The other thing is, if somebody's not happy, they're going to tell everybody else that inside the company they're not happy. Then all the other people start getting less happy. And things are either always spiraling up or they're spiraling down. And you might as well have them spiral up, because they could easily just as easily go start spiraling down.
Yes,
so,
no, definitely. And when you have those people, and of course it's inevitable, you can't expect an entire, especially a large organization, every single person, 100% happy every day. It's not going to happen. But the people, when you have the people in teams that are truly, truly disengaged, really not happy, it can be very, very toxic, and emotions are contagious, So you might have a team, and then there's that one person who's complaining about management and this, and they might be good at their job. So you're like, well, they're getting their work done. But what are they doing to the productivity of everyone sitting around them, and the engagement and the motivation of everyone sitting around them? So I absolutely I advise companies to take those people very seriously and either get them moving in the right direction or manage them out.
Well, listen, not every person is meant for every job.
Yeah.
And certain jobs, and I think that as leaders, we have to figure out, listen, our salespeople need to have this kind of personality, or kind of fall into a certain bucket. And our customer service people need to have this kind of personality. I find that companies, they just offshore their customer service work to people who don't speak English very well. They don't have the culture of understanding like we do. Americans are an unusual breed of people, and that we're compassionate people, different than other parts of the world. They all do their thing and they all get through their day, but we do it a certain way.
Yes.
And when you introduce a foreign element, it really can be a big issue sometimes, I guess.
Yes. No, I would agree. And just that, always thinking of the customer journey from start all the way to the finish. And what you want is your customers to become raving fans and to refer your company. And so, yeah, of course, that's a business decision, right? It's obviously a lot less expensive to have your customer team. We always had our call centers and teams in North America just for that reason, because we wanted them to feel connected to the hotels.
Well, and also the customer on one end of the line can relate to the other person on the other end of the line. If you're in another part of the world, try as hard as you can. It's not anybody's fault. You just probably can't relate to them the same way that you might be able to relate to somebody who's local. So
yeah, I agree.
Maybe. So, well, listen, this has been a great discussion. We got you to reveal the inside track about being happy, about the ingredients that it takes to be happy, about what it takes for companies to really get their people up to speed. And if they use the model of the hotel industry, any industry could learn from that. So, Tia, thank you very much for being with us and for sharing. It was really a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, listen, thanks. And we'll stay in touch. And listen, thanks for also being a personal friend. Nice to see you.
You too.
You've been listening to Profit from the Inside with Joel Block. For more insights and to learn more, visit joelblock.com.
How about a shout out and a giant thanks to my podcast producer, David Wolf, and his team at Podcast and Radio Networks. Profit from the Inside simply wouldn't be what it is without David and his team. For more information or to learn how you can launch and produce your own podcast, reach out to podcastandradio.com.
Get the inside track on 20 top business trends for 2020 from Joel Block. Joel's insights bring Wall Street to your street so you can profit from the inside in 2020. Just text the word TREND to 72000. That's 72000 and download your free copy today. Grab your phone and get the inside track on business trends that affect you and your business. Just text the word TREND to 72000 for your copy now.